What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants. No hate. So let's take a look at what's going on right now. Now, I can care less about the Canelo fans getting upset with what I'm about to say, because I'm going to say it anyway, god damn it. In the past, I don't care nothing about what he's done, what he's accomplished, because every fighter has had a point where they have done a lot and they slacked off. Okay? The greatest of all time fighters, okay, the all-time greats have all had fights where, of course, the fanboys want to make it like every fight they had was just, everybody was just a world beater. No, they all had some cherry picks here and there, okay? In the past, let's look at this. Canelo says David Benavidez only has one champion he fight. He's done nothing. They all want to fight, and but they don't want to fight each other and work and blah blah blah. And the Canelo fans talking about, but he's right. But then he goes and fight guys that the guys he won't fight will beat as well. Now, we know Canelo has done some good things and, he's a good fighter and all that. Fuck that, man. He says David Benavidez only fight one champion. He's done nothing. Then his other excuse for not fighting David Benavidez is he's Mexican and he don't want to fight Mexicans because he represents Mexico. Okay, whatever. He fought Caleb Plant, who David Benavidez also beat. Okay? So, between the two, you still didn't fight the best at 168. He tells Demetrius Andre, you've done nothing. You're a horrible fighter. You've done nothing. Okay. But then he goes and fights this guy. Like I said in the previous video, the last fight he had, we broke the guy's nose and he dropped the guy but couldn't finish him off. All of that shit, right? And listen, like I said, I'm just gonna be real about this shit. But he fights him like as if that guy was better than David Benavidez or against Demetrius Andre. If Demetrius Andre is a horrible fighter, then you shouldn't have a problem with knocking him out, shutting his mouth, and hey, okay, move on to the next one, right? Jamel and Jamal Charlo have been inactive for like 2 years. Out of nowhere, Jamel Charlo versus Canelo. And what is everybody saying, including Eddie Hearn? They don't think that Charlo is going to be ready to go through this because of the inactivity. Whereas Canelo, he at least came back and got another fight under his belt. And this is what they're saying. That doesn't mean that's how it's going to play out. But in other words, this fight is seen as this is a cherry pick because I don't think Charlo's ready. Now, with all of that, now he turns around and says the same shit about Terence Crawford. If you look at his resume, he fight one champion in Errol Spence. But other than that, nobody. So basically, what Canelo was saying is, sure, he was undisputed at 140 because there was nobody there with any names. There was no good fighters there. So he beat a bunch of bums, got, the undisputed championship, and his whole career, all he fought was Errol Spence. A couple of weeks ago, Canelo was saying that he'll fight Terence Crawford, but only at 168, and saying that he's really the smaller guy. People don't understand because Crawford is at 147, but he's not a big guy, and Crawford's bigger, right? With rehydration, which is not true. Canelo said he rehydrates to like 178 pounds. So Crawford is still a few pounds lighter than him. How do you go from all of a sudden you'll fight him but at 168 to saying now he's fought nobody? Now, I could respect if he would have said, right now I'm only focused on Jamel Charlo. After Jamel Charlo, we'll see how things go down. Because if you really feel like, and not to mention he said he don't want to fight him because, he contradicts himself and says he don't want to fight him because he beat him. He's not going to get the full credit because he's 3 weight classes smaller. Okay, He contradicts himself in saying that because he already said he would fight him at 168 and claim he's actually smaller than Crawford. But then, all his hypocrite fanboys, well, if that's the case, right? Well, when Bevo says he want to fight you at 168 because he already beat you at 175, and people already make the excuse for you that you're too small for 175. So he want to beat you at the weight class that you say and your fanboy said that you're unbeatable at, which is 168. But here come Mauricio Suleiman to save you from that fight. Oh, well, because he's Russian and we don't want to have the Russians participate at this time because of the war. Not to mention, if you're not going to get full credit because he's coming from 3 weight classes, well, naturally, you basically 154, 160, right? 175. That's 3 weight classes. So guess what? You jumped up 2. Nobody said you was too small when you fought against the other Russian dude, Kovalev. So my whole thing with that is, if you don't want to fight the dude, just say you're not interested in fighting him. Just say, I don't see Terence Crawford the way everybody else does. And the reason I'm saying that is because the more detail you make, that makes people start to look at your resume and look at who you've been fighting. And look at who you haven't fought. And why have you fought this guy instead of that guy? You say a guy's easy. Same way. You know, Deontay Wilder said Dillian White style is easy to beat. So go knock him the fuck out and shut him up. I believe Canelo feels like Spence is probably an easier fight than Crawford. Because for you to even say anything about him coming up 3 weight class, so what? Wouldn't Errol Spence be doing the same thing? And you said you'd fight Errol Spence. See, this is the shit I be talking about. The things that people say, and like what they say and what they do just doesn't add up, and their stories don't add up. Y'all get so caught up into this fanboy shit, nobody can do any wrong when you cheer for them. And I personally don't care to see Crawford and Canelo. It doesn't matter to me if it happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't. It's not a fight that I'm clammed up to see. Just like, you know, all this talk about Crawford fighting Gervonta Tank Davis. I mean, all this shit. First off, you know, we've had other fighters say the same thing Canelo say, and y'all crucify them. Canelo said, but he's right, because he's the face of boxing. Hey, stop with all this face of boxing bullshit. Stop with all of this. I don't give a fuck about how many fucking fans he have. I don't care nothing about ticket sale. I don't care about any of that shit. We're talking about talent in the ring. Shit can go left for anybody. Okay? Even in him saying that, okay, well, if you are not saying that Errol Spence is too small, then stop saying Crawford is too small. They're both coming up to your weight class. Just like Jermell Charlo is coming from 154 to 168. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, but Aries, he's naturally a bigger guy. So fucking what? He's still coming up. He don't fight at his walk-around weight. Stop that bullshit. You can't, okay, here's another thing. Jermell Charlo is not as physically as big as Kovalev. His walk-around rate is not as big as Kovalev's. You fought Kovalev. So I'm just being straight up about this shit, man. Like the excuses that people come up with. I wish I could just put a compilation together of all the shit that people say and just let people just listen back to back. If they wouldn't copyright that shit, I promise you I'd do it. And let y'all just sit and listen to your favorite fighters say one thing and then say something completely different. And I would love to be right there next to you just to see the expression on your fucking face when you hear this and like, yeah, so you still don't get it, huh? Look, great fighters can have disastrous nights. You know, Terence Crawford and Spence just fought. Spence got his ass whooped in there. But people act like this shit never happened before. They act like the great Roberto Duran didn't get knocked out in 2 rounds by Thomas Hearns as well. They act like Thomas Hearns didn't get knocked out in 3 rounds by Hagler. Yeah, but that was a great war. So fucking what? Terence Crawford and Spence, it was a war, but a one-sided ass kicking. Bottom line is, this wasn't the fucking super fight everybody thought it was going to be. Yeah, Hearns and Hagler was action-packed. Stop all the cap, though. Let's stop sitting there. I mean, yeah, they went to war for 3 rounds, but at the end of the day, still, these guys are legends in the sport, right? Icons in the sport, right? But one of them still went to sleep in 3 rounds. You understand what I mean? Not 8, 9, 10, 3. Same way when Hearns knocked out Duran in 2 rounds. That didn't make Duran lose any real credibility, right? Yeah, remember, Duran didn't want to fight Iran Barkley. He gave his belt up to avoid fighting Iran Barkley. Yeah, but that was at 160 pounds. Nobody told him to go to 160. Hearns went all the way up the damn cruiserweight. So, I mean, Milton McCrory, I remember he fought Donald Curry. They was fighting for the unified championship. I think that was December 6th of 85. And guess what? Before that fight started, Sugar Ray Leonard was one of the commentators. What they say? These are 2 champions. They expected to deliver. What happened? Donald Curry knocked him out in 2 rounds. So, shit happens. So when I say shit happens, it's not just to be optimistic. It's not to be optimistic at all. It's just reality. Shit happens. You can envision a fight all you want, but when they get in that ring, and look, I'm not knocking Duran for getting knocked out. I'm not knocking Hearns for getting out. That's my point. Shit happens. But those fights were not expected to end that early. Even when they say this fight isn't making it to the final bell, right? But they're thinking probably 8, 9, maybe 10, whatever. If you was fighting in that 15-round era, probably 11 to 12, not 2 and 3. But that's just the way shit happens. So my whole thing is, 1 minute I want to fight this guy. Oh yeah, we can make this fight happen. The next minute, no, the guy has done nothing. He only fight 1 champion. And it's like, bruh, y'all keep talking this legacy shit and talk about somebody daring to be great. They tried to take credit from Roy Jones when he went up and fought John Ruiz. Well, it's not like he did it to Lennox Lewis. It's not like he did it to Mike Tyson. He wanted Mike Tyson, but Mike Tyson at the time was supposedly said to be retired or whatever. Bottom line, your accomplishments is your accomplishments. Was John Ruiz the best heavyweight? Fuck no. But the fact that little ass Roy Jones went all the way up and was only 199 pounds and still won regardless, you can't take that away from that man. Y'all was walking here talking about Canelo would beat Anthony Joshua because they showed footage of him sparring at heavyweight and he keeps winning, and then all of a sudden he comes in there against Beaver when he loses. I'm not taking nothing away from Canelo because he lost to Beaver. Beaver was way better than what people gave him credit for being. But the fact is, there's no special effects about Beaver. He's a basic boxer that sticks to the game plan. He's disciplined, and he'd be tough for anybody to beat. Bottom line is, he failed that test. Had he won, you wouldn't have heard nothing about, oh, he's too small for light heavyweight. It's because he lost. But if you don't want to fight Terrence Crawford, don't sit here and try to shit on the dude's resume with all this bullshit about he's done nothing, because you got some nothings on your resume too. All right, let's be real. And I wouldn't make no excuse for Terrence Crawford, no fighter. If Crawford went up and fought Canelo at 168 and got his ass whooped, you know what I'm going to say? He got his ass whooped. Nobody made him go to 168. If he goes to 168 and he whooped Canelo's ass, what excuse would Canelo have then? What can Canelo say then? And Terrence Crawford, I think, is like 2 years older than Canelo. So, yeah, just saying. What excuse would he have then? The only way we truly know who's going to win is when the fight happens. So, it's like, the more something seems like it's about to become a reality, we know that it wouldn't be next. It wouldn't be next because Charlo's next. But if he would be next afterwards, no. I'm more interested. Fuck the Terrence Crawford fight. I'm more interested in seeing him fight Benavidez or Andre, whoever wins that fight. I got a feeling he's not gonna fight either one of them. So if you don't want to fight them, you don't want to fight David Morrell, all right? You don't want to fight Terrence Crawford. Who the fuck do you want to fight? Who's worthy? Who are you gonna fight? Caleb Plant in a rematch? Get Anthony and Andre Dirrell to come out of retirement and fight one of them? Like what? I don't understand how this whole this guy's done nothing, he's done nothing. You talking about the undisputed two-time, two-weight division undisputed champion has done nothing. So, I mean, see, the thing with Canelo is he know he have millions too, and anything he says is golden. He say it, it's facts, because he said it. All I'm saying is plain and simple, man. If this is about legacy, okay. Motherfucking Floyd Mayweather came all the way up from 130. Yeah, fought you at 154. Was he too small? And he was 36 years old. Oh, Canelo was a baby. Yeah, a 23-year-old baby with 40 plus fights. Yeah, stop playing games. This is the type of shit that you know, boxing has so many shit stains on it that it's just like, take your pick. Which shit stain is making boxing look bad this week? Which shit stain gonna make it look bad the next couple of days? This is the type of stuff I'm talking about. Man, you watch MMA. You watch, you know, one fighting championships. Ain't nobody talking about no fucking, oh man, he only fought one champion. Oh, he only did. No, motherfucker, he's next. He's the one everybody want to see. Man, let's get it. That's what they do in MMA. That's what they do in one fighting championships. That's what they do in K1. Boxing with this bullshit, and the thing is, they don't make close to what these boxers are making. And these motherfuckers come with this, let's play, you know, duck, goose with who we fight, who we want to fight. And that's just like, you know, and I'm not even shocked by it. But my thing is, when people go out their way above and beyond to make excuses for a fighter because this is the fighter that they like. But what about such? We ain't talking about such and such, motherfucker. We talking about Canelo. Idiot told me this the other day. A comment this motherfucker made, and I'm only giving this analogy to just show you the level of ignorance with people. This motherfucker sat here, we was talking about football. And I said, man, listen, we'll never know who really would have won. I mean, that's just fantasy shit. I said, but you know, we were talking about the Cowboys. Okay, the Super Bowl, when I think it was that tight end, forget his name, whatever. They threw a pass, it was the Cowboys and the Steelers. If they catch the ball, the Cowboys win. With or without the field goal, they win. Then they need the field goal. They won already, right? Last play of the game, no more time on the clock. This motherfucker drops the ball in the end zone, right? So I said, you can't shit on the team because of a bad play. I mean, if he catch the ball, then he wins, right? But he dropped the ball. What about the Buffalo Bills? They choked 4 times. I'm like, well, for one, you need to calm your little hostile ass down. The fuck? Nobody's talking about the Buffalo Bills, jackass. We're talking about the fucking Cowboys versus the Steelers. Oh, he's a Cowboy fan, so the fact that a Cowboy dropped the ball and cost them the game because he couldn't hold on to it, he gets in his feelings and bring up the Buffalo Bills. Nobody's talking about the fucking Buffalo Bills. We're not talking about any other fucking teams outside of the Cowboys and the Steelers Super Bowl, and the guy for the Cowboys dropped the fucking ball. What the fuck are you bringing up the Bills for? This is the same shit, that mentality. You say something about one fighter, you want to bring up another fighter, and it doesn't change the fact. You tell me one legitimate reason that he should not fight Terrence Crawford. And the only fucking legit reason that I can think of is if this motherfucker say, I'm fighting the winner of Durrell, Andre and Benavidez. Or if he gets his ass whooped by Charlo. And then there's a rematch clause. That's the only fucking 2 reasons. Now, I would definitely, okay, if he chose David Morrell, I wouldn't be mad at that either. I wouldn't be mad at none of it. But, you know, cool. David Morrell, he's a worthy opponent. But, did David Morrell, here's the problem with that though. Has David Morrell accomplished more than Terrence Crawford? Okay. And Morrell has been his mandatory for how long now? I think for his WBO. So, I'm just saying, look at what these motherfuckers are trying to do with the privilege belt. Let's elevate Teofimo Lopez and make him the WBO mandatory for Crawford. Well, I can see now. Crawford stomping mud holding Teofimo. What you think the first thing they're going to say? Oh, man, but you got to understand, Teofimo came up from 135. you guys are, it's funny, man, because I just hear things and I'm like, let me see how people are going to react to this before I make a video. So I'm going to make a reaction to their reactions as well. Otherwise, what's the purpose of complaining? And the longer you stick around, you're going to contradict yourself because you're going to fight somebody that's not even in Terence Crawford's class. And you want to know what? The face of boxing should move like the face of boxing and not like the other fighters who are doing the same thing. Pick and choose. And y'all the same motherfuckers always bringing up Floyd name. Talking about, well, Floyd, all he did was wait for fight to get old, away from him to get too young. Yeah, whatever the fuck. I know. He's just, master manipulator, did everything his way. But I clearly watched this motherfucker go up the ranks and was whooping ass. I watched him beat De La Hoya and all of them. He became the face of boxing, so to speak. And then from there, he did his thing, did what he had to do. He became the money man. Now, all of a sudden, people that didn't want to fight him, they done got 2 and 3 losses. Oh, I bet y'all do want to fight him now. Yeah. Y'all want bad there? I ain't know. You don't want bad there? Same shit. Yeah. So all of this talk about, oh, but what about Flash? Shut the fuck up. Because not one of you motherfuckers would turn a fight down for $300 million. 200 million. So shut the fuck up with all of that. And this is not defense of Floyd. This is common sense. Y'all love to talk about shit when y'all know y'all will never be in that position. So it's easy to say what somebody else should have done. But then when it comes to like this situation, where's all this energy towards Canelo? Like, yo, you talking stupid. Man, if you're not going to fight Benavidez, or Andre, depending on who wins, if you beat Charlo, right, then you're not going to fight David Morrell. Then who? Who you gonna fight? At the end of the day, y'all, this is what boxing doesn't need. And like I said, I'm not gonna sit up here, Canelo did, like I said, whole lot of greats, all of the greats got some cherry picks and some meatballs on their fucking resume. But at the end of the day, we're not gonna sit here and just act like this shit is not happening. And for him to say that Terence Crawford only got one credible name on his resume, and he should be ashamed of himself, bro. And wait a minute, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Kell Brook come up from 147 to fight you at 160? And you ain't have a problem with that? Didn't Amir Khan come up from 147 to fight you at whatever, 154, 160, whatever, but didn't he come up to fight you smaller guys? See, you have no problem fighting other smaller guys. You know the difference with Terence Crawford, his skill set is different. And that's who you have a problem with. He don't want to relive something close to what happened when Floyd beat him. And you know what's crazy? They both in their 30s now. So yeah, all this shit, all these excuses that people make trying to talk about age and whatever, man, stop that goofy shit. You sign up for something, you ready, you say you want it, then fight. Then fight. But I tell you what, if you do not fight Terence Crawford, you do not fight Morrell, you do not fight the winner of Benavidez and Andre, don't end up fighting no fucking Berlanga and then trying to say that Berlanga's more dangerous or Berlanga. Don't come. See, because when you look at who's there, there's no need to fight Plant in the rematch because he lost to fucking Benavidez. So why would you fight the loser? But if he ends up fighting a guy like Berlanga, it don't matter. His minions are going to find a way to hip-hop hooray that shit anyway. But listen, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. What matters is you saying what makes sense and doing what makes sense. And I say this and I'm going to stand on it. Just same way a fighter has to prove that he can dethrone the champ. I'm better. I came in and took his title. The champ should move different. The champ resume should be different. The champ should be stacking these wins up. You always talk about he can't fight everybody. Well, y'all seem to think that that's what every other fighter is supposed to do. Let's fight all the tough fights. Let's try to eliminate each other. And what? He sit back and just wait for the winner of all these tournaments? No. Stop that bullshit, man. Stop that bullshit. And you can't sit up here and talk about back in the day everybody fought everybody but make excuses for Canelo or any other fighter for that matter. He got to get past Jamel first off. All right? So, and if he loses to Jamel, then what? Rematch? If he loses again, then what? What happens if he loses twice? Then what? Who does he fight now? Because it would make no sense for Crawford to want to fight him then. Jermell Charlo, Canelo, Crawford, all these guys. These are legacy fights. These are legacy fights. The difference in the mindset now is every fighter always wanted to make money. But it meant more, just as much to these guys to build their legacies and be able to look back on their career and say, I gave the people what they wanted, I did my best, and I definitely fought all the guys, or the majority of the guys in my era. You know, there's guys I didn't fight, but the main guys, I fought. I fought. Win, lose, or draw, I fought them. This era is more like high risk, low reward. I don't think I should take that fight. And that right there, it just sucks. And like I said, boxing doesn't need that shit. Talk to me in the comment section. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people, and I will catch y'all on the next video.